The release of ABS product Regional Population Growth 2011 to 2012 reveals the largest and fastest growing regions of Australia in terms of the usually resident population. In the year to June 2012, the number of people living in Australia's capital cities increased by over 270,000, or 1.8%. For the rest of the country, population grew by just 1.2%. Melbourne had the largest growth of all capital cities, increasing by 77,000 people, or an extra 1,500 people per week. The increases for Perth and Sydney were not too far behind. Brisbane grew by 43,000, while the remaining capitals grew by a combined 24,000 people. In terms of percentage change, Perth's population grew significantly faster than the rest. Perth's increase of 3.6% put the WA capital well ahead of Brisbane, Darwin, Melbourne and Canberra, which all grew by closer to 2%. The other capital cities also grew, but by smaller rates. Hobart had the slowest growth at just 0.3%. The country's largest growing smaller regions were in Melbourne, especially to the cities north and west. Within Melbourne, some of the largest growing areas were South Morang, Craigieburn-Mickleham and Epping in the north, and Point Cook, Tarneit and Truganina in the west. Inner Melbourne also continued its strong growth of recent years. In Perth, the largest growing areas were in the southern and northern outskirts of the metropolitan area, including Baldivis, Ellenbrook, and Forestdale-Harrisdale-Piara Waters. Some of the country's fastest growing areas were within Canberra and Brisbane. On the northern outskirts of Canberra, the suburbs of Crace and Bonner each doubled in population in just 1 year, while nearby Ford and Casey also saw rapid increases. In Brisbane, the hotspots are North Lakes Mango Hill, Forest Lake Doolandella, and Redbank Plains. The fastest growing area in New South Wales was Parklea-Kellyville Ridge in Sydney's northwest growth corridor. In Adelaide, we see the largest growth happening in the northern suburbs around Davoren Park. Up in Darwin, the largest growth was recorded in Rosebery-Bellamac in Palmerston and Lyons. And in Hobart, Margate Snug to the south of the city had the highest growth. Outside of the capital cities, the largest growth generally occurred along the coast, particularly in Queensland's Gold Coast and Townsville regions, and in southwest WA. High growth also occurred in the mining regions of Queensland and Western Australia. Regional Population Growth 2011-12 also reveals the most densely populated parts of Australia. Surrounding the Sydney CBD, the suburbs of Pyrmont, Ultimo, Potts Point, Woolloomooloo, Darlinghurst and Surrey Hills, each crowded in over 13,000 residents per square kilometre. The next most densely populated part of the country was in the centre of Melbourne. In just 1 year, inner Melbourne packed in an extra 860 people per square kilometre to reach just over 10,000 per square kilometre in 2012. Neighbouring Carlton is home to almost 8,500 people per square kilometre. The release of ABS product Regional Population Growth 2011 to 2012 reveals the largest and fastest growing. It includes population estimates for a large range of regions and in a variety of formats. The wide range of geographies, which go down to a very small regional level, provides a flexible geographic base for users to effectively explore and analyse recent population levels and trends.